What's going on, Jerome's? Minnesota Vikings training camp is rapidly approaching, and after training camp comes preseason, and after preseason comes 53-man rooster cuts. And General Manager adofo-mensah, second year at the helm, shaping this rooster into the way that he wants it to look, and getting rid of some Spielman guys, bringing in some guys of his own. And with every single team, every single year, there's always a couple of shocking cuts, notable ones, right? Whether the team is done with a player or trying to get them on a practice squad or potentially some trades. So we have five shocking potential roster cuts. Also, these could be listed as trades too, because these players, again, it's going to be a little bit shocking. We're going to have some spicy meatballs going on here, but we're going to dive on in. First one, number 5, defensive tackle Harrison Phelps. Ooh! Yes, spicy. That's muy caliente. So, coming over from the Buffalo Bills, signing himself a 2-year deal. 59 tackles last year, a sack and a half, 24 pressures, 72 PFF grade. He was very solid along the defensive line, but the Vikings and just the defensive line as a whole, even with Phillips, even with Diesel Dalvin healthy, I mean, there's issues up front, right? And the Vikings are saving up pennies and pinching corners and just trying to get as much cap space as possible. And I don't think this is likely, especially given the Vikings defensive line unit right now. I mean, who's really going to step up in his place? Well, Tonga is a true nose tackle. I know Harrison Phillips has been moonlighting as, but I actually think that he'd be better off as a 4-tech or a 5-tech. But, I mean, the Vikings would have to have a lot of young guys step up to make this palatable. So, Jaquelin Roy, the rookie, last year's 5th-round pick, Asazio Tomowo, James Lynch, Bullard, Lowry as the veteran, maybe. But again, there has to be some shock value here. Like I don't see it happening, but also, you know, saving $6.5 million against the cap, it's possible. Next up, number 4, running back, kick returner, King Kenny and Wanum. Woo! All right, so this is less of a cap issue and more about the running back room. So the Vikings not bringing back Dalvin Cook. They have Madison. They have Ty Chandler. They have Dwayne McBride. They also have King Kenny, where, you know, Kenny has gotten work through some regular season games as well as definitely in the preseason, and he showed some flashes for sure. But, you know, the question is, can he be an NFL running back? Can he be a rotational guy, or is he just a dude who is better as a special teamer? Also, the kick return position has been devalued, even though he is the best kick returner in the league. And the Vikings do have Brandon Powell as well as Malik Knowles, a rookie from Kansas State. Both have some kick returning prowess. Also, Ty Chandler returned kicks last preseason as well. So it is noteworthy, and this is less a cap-saving move since, you know, Kenny is in the 3rd year of his rookie deal, but also he could potentially have some trade value, and also this is more of a roster space / redundancy thing. Could they cut King Kenny, try to get him through waivers, and then put him on the practice squad and protect him? It's possible. Next up, shocking potential cut number 3 for the Vikings. Safety Cameron Bynum. So, again, this is not necessarily a money issue. This is more of a roster construction issue. So, Beasley was a starter all last year. Yes, respected, but it was a little bit rough. I mean, he showed some flashes as a rookie, but last year, a 50.9 PFF coverage grade, a 117 quarterback rating when thrown at, and 6 touchdowns allowed in coverage. That's not good. And also, the Vikings are set up uniquely defensively where, yes, Brian Flores loves using 3 safeties in his looks, and basically, you know, Josh Metellus has been the floating joker out there, playing some linebacker, playing some safety, playing some generalized DB, but you know, the question is, you know, Harrison, Bynum, and Metellus have been running with the ones, but Lewis Cine they've been bringing along very slowly. Does he crack the starting lineup, even though Beasley and Cine are 2 very different types of safeties? Theo Jackson, could he be all in that mix? The rookie Jay Ward coming in from LSU. I think that he's going to make an impact sooner rather than later. And, yeah, you do have to weigh in the fact that the Vikings are probably moving on from Harrison Smith after the season, but could it be a spot where, yeah, most teams don't carry 5 safeties on the active on the 53-man roster, so it could be a spot where they try to roll with 4. Say it's Harrison, Cine, Metellus, and Jay Ward, and maybe they try to get Cameron Bynum down on the practice squad. It's a possibility. Next up, potential shocking cut number 2, outside linebacker DJ Wanum. Now, we said just last week that Wanum has a chance to be a breakout star for the Vikings because he's going to get opportunities because the departure of Zadarius Smith, the potential departure of Marcus Davenport. We'll see what happens with, potential departure of Danielle Hunter. We'll see what happens with Davenport. Patrick Jones has shown flashes, but he's still an unknown. Andre Carter II, same thing. So is Wanum going to be that dude? But here's what's interesting. So the NFL is instituted performance-based pay. Based on non-first round picks. If they contribute early on the first 3 seasons, they get a bump in pay, but that's on their 4th year salary, but none of that is guaranteed. So it actually potentially could work against them because the Vikings could cut or trade DJ Wanum. His $2.743 million base salary is not guaranteed. They take a very minuscule cap hit, and they save almost $3 million in cap. But 34 pressures, 4 sacks last year for Wanum. He had 8 sacks in 2021. I think that he could be a force, especially in this Flores defense. But also, at the end of the day, it could come down to nickels and dimes, as well as potential trade market for DJ Wanum. Lastly, potential shocking potential cut number 1. Left guard Ezra Cleveland. Now, we brought this one up before, where Ezra is due $2.993 million base salary. None of it is guaranteed as a non-first round pick, but he had his best year of his career last year. Run blocking, he was great, but pass blocking. So he was 44th out of 55 qualifying guards in terms of pass protection, in terms of PFF pass blocking grade. He allowed 55 pressures and 5 sacks last year. So, again, we've always said that Ezra Cleveland is a left tackle forced to play left guard because the Vikings brought in Christian Darrisaw. And could it be a spot where there could be a trade market, a team that needs that tackle, and the Vikings potentially move on? I don't know. But, the big question is who would take over? Now, is it Chris Reed? Probably not. Is it Schlutman? Maybe. It's definitely not Oli Udoh because we saw the tackle experiment with him. Plus, also, he might have to replace Brian O'Neill for a hot second. But they have been working in Blake Brandel quite a bit at guard, and that also occurred last season. And, Brandel, you can't handle Brandel, the pride of Oregon State. I'm certain that there are a couple of fans of his in the room. And Ezra is in a contract year. Do the Vikings potentially see him re-signing here? Probably not. I think that he'll sign somewhere to try and play left tackle. And if the Vikings can get some trade value now, why not? Again, this should be the potential cut / trade / whatever list. But there's going to be a couple of names that will surprise some people, and it's a combination of roster size construction, money, cap space, as well as potential trade market. Because if you told me that all 5 of these guys were guaranteed to make the roster, I don't know if I would believe you. I think one of the 5 will at least be potentially traded or cut with the idea of trying to get him on the practice squad, and that's just what happens, man. Sometimes big-time names or names that have been around for a while, sometimes it's either time to move on or the younger guys getting their chance and make an impression. It sort of is what it is. The business is the business. But that's it. That's 5 shocking potential roster cuts or trades or whatever for the Vikings. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.